Unit 6, Hair and Fiber, Section 2, the analysis of hair. So hair is generally just going to be used as points of comparison, and it's going to be very visually based. Some of the main things that we will look at, we did kind of reference already, but we will check color and length, and obviously length can vary. A hair can get cut or broken, but we do know, for example, if a 12-inch hair is found, most likely it didn't come from my head, but it may have come from somebody with 14-inch hair or 18-inch hair. So that's the idea. Diameter, that's going to be pretty consistent. Again, location of the body, but we'll check that out as well. You won't be able to really do the length or diameter. That's going to be beyond our scope right now. Distribution, shape, color intensity of pigment granules. All right, so this is going to be in the cortex. We'll check that out. And we will be looking at dyed hair to see the difference in dyed hair and how bleaching will affect it. And they'll change it into that yellowy color. Scale types, we looked at those. Remember how there are 3 different scale types that we talked about. The presence and absence, and then all the details about the medulla. So the medulla has a lot of details about it. If there is a medulla there, then we want to be able to identify it. Another way that we can analyze hair is by processing DNA. The hair shaft, and this is interesting, the hair shaft contains a ton of mitochondrial DNA, which only comes from the mother. It can be typed by comparing relatives if no DNA from the body is available. It's difficult, it is costly, than using nuclear DNA, which we only find in the roots. But it is interesting, this mitochondrial DNA, so if there are relatives alive, we can check, if there are enough samples, you can check the mitochondrial DNA of those individuals, and you can actually match it, because the mitochondria itself comes from your mama. When you collect hair, there must be an adequate number of control samples. And so if, let's say that you're a suspect, and I need to come and I need to collect hair samples from you, take a look at what needs to be collected. It needs to come from the victim, all possible suspects, and any others who may have contacted the scene. And what is needed is 50 full-length hairs from all areas of the scalp and 24 full-length pubic hairs. You need a lot of that, and as you can imagine, that's going to be a less than ideal situation that you're going to go through. Some of them will be shorn, so they'll shave some of them. Some of those will have to be plucked so that they can get the root in it for a point of comparison as well. So usually it's half and half. So the process would be 25 hairs from the scalp and 12 from the pubic area being plucked. So that's going to be a great experience. All right, finally we get to hair tox. Good things. Easy to collect and store. It's easily available. You can actually often get hair to run the toxicology on, sometimes without even having to get a warrant for the hair sample. If it's just collected at a, if the suspect comes in and you process them and there's hair left from the suspect in the in the questioning room or something, if that's been properly planned for and the room is sterilized, they brought them in. I mean, they've done stuff like that before. Hard to hold that up in court, though. That can get you a head start on questioning, but that's definitely not going to be something you would actually take to court. You'd then want to process the individual. But again, you must take, in order to do tox, it needs to come from different areas of the body. So they'll pull from all areas of the body in order to get an accurate drug screening. Last thing is just an interesting note about Napoleon. A lot of people will suggest that he was poisoned by arsenic. And some people will say that it has something to do with vapors from the dyes in the wallpaper. But they were able to find arsenic in his hair. So that is known for sure. How it got into his system, though, that will forever be unknown. Could have been natural causes, possibly. I don't know if he was eating paint chips. Or possibly somebody did poison Napoleon. So kind of interesting little fact there. Alright, that is all for hair.